If you have ever tried to learn English, you probably know the feeling of staring at a sentence and having absolutely no idea whether to use in, on, or at. It often feels like a massive arbitrary list of words that you simply have to memorize through trial and error. But there is actually a consistent pattern behind these choices. English prepositions follow a highly organized geometric blueprint. This diagram breaks physical space into 3 dimensions. We start with a point, expand into a flat surface, and grow into an enclosed volume. Understanding these basic shapes replaces guesswork with absolute precision. This graphic introduces our first dimension, a single point in space. In English, we use the word at for the shape. Think of it like dropping a pin on a digital map. You use it to identify a specific location, an exact coordinate, or simply when you are near a site. For example, if a security courier is standing near a building, we say the courier is waiting at the museum entrance. We are treating that entire location as a single specific dot. Moving up 1 dimension, we have the flat surface. The word for this is on. As this diagram explains, you use on whenever an item rests directly against a flat area, making physical contact with it. Whether that surface is a floor, a wall, or even a ceiling. If a worker applies paint to the ground, they are painting safety markings on the sidewalk. The paint is resting directly against that flat 2-dimensional area. Our third dimension is the fully enclosed volume, which gives us the word in. You reserve in strictly for objects or people that are contained inside a defined boundary or a physical space. This comparison shows the difference between being near a place and being inside it. If you are standing by the entrance gate, you are at the zoo, just a point on the map. But once you walk inside a building with walls, you are contained, so you are in the reptile house. By asking yourself a simple question, is the subject resting against a surface, near a point, or completely inside a boundary, you can determine the correct word to use every time. Here is a helpful shortcut. English uses the exact same shapes of points, surfaces, and volumes to organize time. As you can see in this chart, the rules for physical space map directly onto clocks and calendars. Look at this clock diagram. A specific time of day is treated exactly like a precise point on a map. Because it is a single point, we use at. For instance, a security shift ends at midnight. If we expand our view to a full day, we treat that single date as a flat surface. We use on for specific calendar days, like saying a board summit meets on October 31st. For longer periods, like entire months, seasons, or years, we treat them as large volumes. We place events inside these time containers, like saying an audit begins in February. When you view time as having a physical shape, you don't need to learn a separate set of rules for your schedule. The same 3 dimensions work for both where you are and when you are there. Sometimes, English skips these words entirely to keep sentences moving efficiently. As this graphic shows, certain words that describe time do not need at, on, or in to help them. Words like today, tomorrow, and yesterday already have their own timing built into them. You don't need to say on today. You simply say, management intends to finalize the strategy today. Because these words already clearly define when something is happening, adding an extra preposition creates redundancy. Leaving them out makes your speech sound more natural. To finish the picture, let's look at 3 words used to explain reasons, tools, and travel. 4 identifies the person receiving something or the specific reason for an action. You prepare a report for the manager or give an award for leadership. Next is with. This graphic shows how with connects you to people or things you use. You might travel with a colleague or draw a plan with a digital stylus. Finally, we have by. This illustration shows how by identifies the method you use to get something done, whether that is a mode of transport, like traveling by train, or a process, like sending a notice by email. When you combine these specific connectors with the geometric shapes we have covered, you can accurately describe how, why, and where almost anything happens. This final table brings everything together. At is your specific point. On covers your surfaces and calendar days. And in handles your enclosed volumes and longer periods of time. Internalizing this single logical comparison transforms these words from a guessing game into a reliable system. You now have a clear geometric guide for whenever you need to describe space and time in English.